Hey, fourth grade. Excited to pop back on here and talk a little bit about your Art to Remember fundraiser. I'm excited about yours for a couple of reasons. One, the last couple years, kids have mentioned to me dragons, and that's just kind of like a really fun theme that many of you are interested in, either whether it's from books or movies or just kind of, I don't know, there's something about a dragon that's kind of cool. And I was telling Mrs. Kurtzwell that you guys have a lot of talent in this grade level, and I know that you guys are just going to knock this out of the park. I can just feel it. So I'm super excited about doing this new project with you all, because I think yours will just be amazing, and they'll be so cool and bright on you know, the mugs or the products or the things that your family wants to order. So I started making this dragon before I hurt my hand, and that's the reason why I don't have the background done yet. But just like a close-up of the face and the scales and the colors. We've got some new markers this year that have tons of choices, and I think you can just really take this to town and you can really go really far with it. But to set up the basics, you know, often in the past I would either give steps on the board, you know, my turn, your turn, or you would trace something or whatever. I think you guys can handle this if we break down the shapes, and the way we're going to do it is you're going to have a colored handout that looks like this, and you're going to look for the numbers. So for example, step one, right here, you look for the number 1 and look for the same color line, which is the face, and you're going to draw this big sort of almost like a peanut shape, and make sure that it takes up almost as much distance as the paper. You don't want a teeny little dragon that you can't even see. So step 1, then you look for the number 2, and we see 2 is blue. And then you make 3 blue curved lines down, because it's kind of like the front of the neck is here, the side of the neck is over here. Okay, so 2 are these 3 blue lines. Then number 3, if you look for that number, it shows you to add an eye and an ear, or 2 if you want one behind or something like that. I would encourage a really nice big eye. We always say it doesn't have to look exactly like what I did, but we really want the face to be visible and to have impact and for people to be able to see it. So a really nice large eye would be great. Number 4, some kind of scales on his neck or back, and hopefully I have something else to show you guys where there's more than one way to do that, but put that on his back, whatever way you would like to. A little horn, a snout is number 5. 6, you can kind of stripe the neck. And I'll show you in a second what I did to color mine and make it look kind of dimensional. And then 7 would be personalize the type of scales on the neck. So like these are rounded, almost like the letter U down here. You can make them sort of like the letter V. There's different ways you could do that. And of course, personalizing the background and the colors of the dragon. So that just means like how or what are you going to do to this to make it completely your own. So is the background fiery? You know, is there smoke? Is there clouds? Is there stars like a twinkly night? Is there rainbows? Is there maybe it's, you know, a dragon of the sea or something? But really have fun with that background. Or if none of those appeal to you, you can even just do like cool colors or patterns or something like that. But these steps are going to help you get the basics set up, and you are going to practice, so don't worry, you know, about perfection. Remember that we always pencil it first, but then when you have it, you're going to do some outlining, probably with the fine point Sharpies, and those are on the table up by the sorry, I'm blanking, by the drying rack. And then I ordered really cool markers this year that I've been experimenting with the last couple of years, and they're called like alcohol markers. And the really cool thing about them, maybe you have them at home, is they're sort of like, I don't know how to describe it, but almost a little bit like translucent or see-through. And you can layer them really well, and they look really bright, which just excites me. So like, for example, I did a light green here, and then I did a medium green to shade right there, and you'll be able to see this a little closer, and a darker green for the letter U shape. So I was able to give some shading. And I did the same sort of here with different types of blue, so they just weren't one color. You know, darkness in the ear, the eye really could be any color. You could add some really like cool wild eyelashes. You could do all sorts of things with that, get some reflections going on. And then the neck, I did have those lines like the handout says, and then I sort of, they look like circles because I just went and I started with the blue, and then there's the line that goes across and another color, and it kind of looks dimensional the way that I shaded that, so you can take a peek at that on wall if you're interested in that, but it doesn't have to be that way. So I just think it's going to be like super duper cool. It could have smoke coming out of its nose. It could have really anything. You could have, I saw one where there's like a little flower in its hair, or, you know, ones that are like in flames or whatever. The only thing I would think about is you may even want on your practice tester sheet, whatever this background color is, like I have light green, but it could be yellow, it could be light pink, it could be a very, very almost like super light blue. I would personally do your lightest color as like its skin, because then you can find versions of the color that are darker and darker, maybe a medium and a dark, to get these scales to show up. Because the problem is, if you do the whole dragon's body, let's say really dark purple, you won't have any color options that are dark enough to see the scales. So you really do want to go lighter for its kind of skin tone background, like say it's yellow, and then you find one that's yellowish orange for your shading, and then maybe you use orange for the little scales. So definitely that's one thing that definitely is going to help, that the skin is lighter, it goes to darker. And then with the background, think about that too. We don't really want this to be camouflaged. So if I have a green dragon, I'm probably not going to put him in a green swamp or something unless that's like really dark green. So with him, I might say, oh, he's going to be in a sunny background and have yellows and orange and pinks and sunsets. Or if I have a blue dragon, I probably don't want a blue background unless it's really different. Test that out on the scrap paper. I might put that on, you know, like a light purple background or something like that. So just kind of think about your choices, that you don't want this to be all the same as this, and make sure the attention's on the dragon, and, you know, this just kind of supports it. In other words, it's not too busy back there, okay? So I'm super excited. Take it slow, practice it out. And I really just wanted to talk about this because we haven't done this before, where you just look for the number, try that shape, and then look for your next number and add those marks on whatever the color is. So 3 and 3. 4 means just these. And I really think they're going to be awesome. I'm like super excited for not only this, but all the things I have in store for you this year. Take care.